Hello, this is Keith Lampe. I'm also known as Ponderosa Pine and as Pondo. I'm coming at you from a mountain location in Ecuador, eager to provide some info and commentary on the tremendously auspicious World Peoples Conference on Climate Change and the Rights of Mother Earth, which is occurring this week in Cochabamba, Bolivia. So I'd like to pass along to you some comments I made yesterday to my news list and some others which I'll be sending out later today. Yesterday I said, hey, the critically important World Peoples Conference on Climate Change and the Rights of Mother Earth begins in just a couple hours, but you'd never know it if you depended on the website of CNN Today. Their malevolent omission of this info provides folks with an opportunity to understand that all the time and space which they give to environmental stuff is a hoax, in that it's based not on true concern for the future of our planet, but rather only on increasing corporate profits from the various token responses to the climate crisis. Most Occidental leftists have noticed that these token responses are hoaxes, but then unfortunately they've induced that therefore global warming itself is also a hoax. Thus, at Michel Chossudovsky's frequently helpful global website, globalresearch.ca, you'll find mention of the conference in Santa Cruz and Montreal next month, but today's even more significant one in Bolivia is suppressed. And today, I read also from a blog spot called Bolivia Rising. Bolivia's indigenous people are rising up and reclaiming a new homeland. An exciting national revolution is unfolding in Bolivia today with its indigenous peoples at its core. The movement to refound Bolivia is an inspiration to many around the world. Bolivia Rising aims to bring news and analysis about this revolution to English speakers. Sorry for the delay here. And today I sent out, or will later, though the World Peoples Conference on Climate Change and the Rights of Mother Earth is just getting underway, it's already obvious that it's a major step forward in our last-ditch efforts to avoid a dieback of humans and of many other species. Never before have indigenous peoples had such a large voice at a world conference. The fusion of their consciousness with that of the well-intentioned Occidentals in attendance will improve everyone's focus, like yin reuniting with yang. Among the worthy projects being initiated is one establishing an international climate justice tribunal, another to enact a world referendum on climate change, plus this utterly lucid demand, quote, hence the indigenous, originary, rural peoples and social organizations of Bolivia demand the fulfillment and the revision of the commitments assumed by developed countries in the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change regarding the development and transfer of technology. These technologies must be clean, environmentally sound, accessible for all developing countries, and must not be subject to profit nor commercialization. Hence, they reject the proposal of developed countries of creating a technology pool where instead of transferring technology, it is put to sale and at inaccessible costs. We demand the creation of the climate justice tribunal and the imposition of sanctions by this tribunal to states that do not fulfill their commitments of development and transfer of technology, end quote. It's marvelous that they're demanding that the promised technology transfer be free of the usual sleazy profit motive, which after all is what underlies our shared climate crisis. Fortunately, second-generation replacements for coal, oil, nuclear, and gas, like zero point and cold fusion, haven't yet been applied to any significant degree, and thus they can be made available non-commercially. It's important to note here that first-generation replacements for toxic energies, like wind and solar, have been applied in a nearly relentless commercial manner, and thus it would be difficult to liberate them from this. Also, these second-generation power breakthroughs can help us replace the toxic energies more quickly than if we stay with the quite limited first-generation ones merely because they've been glamorized in transnational corporate media. One of the first tasks of the International Climate Justice Tribunal should be to track down and prosecute those responsible for the murders of people who had invented new energy devices which could help us a lot in our efforts at climate restabilization. Other new energy inventors and spokespeople have been bribed, threatened, framed and imprisoned, or locked away in mental institutions, all on behalf of retaining the obscenely huge profits of big oil and big coal. I hope there can be a moment of silence at the conference for these dead inventors. All honor to their names. A cogent question for the world referendum is, do you agree that we should tap energy from the ether? It should be accompanied with an explanation of the benefits awaiting us from zero-point energy. Of course, the highest percentage of yes votes would come from non-Occidentals because one or more of their traditions specifically recognize ether as one of the basic natural elements, whereas the Occident is hobbled by its simplistic fourfold heritage of earth, air, fire, water, and its analogous inside the box Newtonian, Einsteinian physics. By the way, shortly after I checked BBC early yesterday morning, it did post a brief piece on the conference, but thus far CNN has been pretending that there is no People's Climate Conference taking place anywhere. This is really all we need to know about CNN. It strengthens my argument for reducing the use of our TV sets to solely DVDs and video cassettes. Okay, I think I'll leave it there for now, but try to get back at you in a day or two. The final day of this conference on Thursday will also be Earth Day. Thank you for your time now.